For this project, you're going to need a size I 5.5mm crochet hook and some 4-ply yarn. I'm using Red Heart Super Saver. It's a worsted weight acrylic, but any 4-ply yarn will do. And then you're going to need a belt that I'm going to use later for the handle. I just picked this belt up at the resale shop for like 50 cents. So, okay, to get started, you're going to need to start with a slip knot. And you want to start with a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you want to slip stitch in the first to form a ring. Like that. Now we want to do a chain 3, and that's going to count as a double crochet. And we're going to need a total of 10 double crochets through the center. So counting this chain 3, that counts as 1. So we need to go back and through and do 9 more double crochets through the center. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and here's 10, counting that chain 3 that we did. Okay. Now, usually if you pull your tail, you can make your circle a little smaller. Okay, we're not going to close this circle up. What we're going to do is we're just going to chain 3 and turn our work, and now we're going to do 2 double crochets in every stitch around, and this is going to be our first one. So we want to go back into this first stitch and do another one, so that'll be like count as having 2 double crochets in that stitch. And then you just want to work across doing 2 double crochets in each stitch. And you want to make sure that you do go put 2 double crochets in the chain 3 right here, because that's going to count as a stitch. You want to make sure that you do that one every time, so right at the top of it. Otherwise it's not going to turn out right. It'll be kind of lopsided and stuff. Oh. Okay. Now what we want to do is chain 3 again and turn our work. 2, 3. Now this time around, we're going to do, whenever I put 2 double crochets in one stitch, that's an increase stitch. So I'm going to call it an increase stitch from now on. So the pattern's going to be, this is going to be our first double crochet, or chain 3. And then we're going to go into the next stitch and we're going to do an increase, where we're going to put 2 double crochets into the next one. And then the next stitch is just going to be 1 double crochet. And then the next one is going to be an increase. It's going to have 2 double crochets. And the next one will be 1 double crochet. And then the next one is going to be our increase. 2 double crochets in the same stitch. And we just want to repeat that pattern until we get back to the beginning. Okay, I'm coming here to the end. And I don't want to forget the chain 3. And if you did your increases right, you should always end every row with an increase. So your last stitch, the chain 3 stitch should always have 2 double crochets in it. So this is the same thing as like increasing a circle, except for we just didn't close it off. We're working back and forth. We're not going around and around. So now we want to chain 3 again and turn our work. That chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. This time around we want to put 2 double crochets in between each increase. So this is going to be our first one, and we want to go into the next stitch and do another one. And then the next stitch is going to be our increase stitch, where we put 2 double crochets in the same stitch. And now we want to put 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So 2 double crochets in a row, and then the next stitch is going to be our increase stitch. 2 double crochets in the same stitch. 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, and then the next stitch is going to be our increase stitch, where we put 2 double crochets in the same stitch. And we just want to repeat that pattern back to the beginning. Okay, I'm coming back around here, and my last stitch right here is going to be an increase. It's going to have 2 in that stitch. That means I counted right, which is a surprise. I usually never do. Okay, now we just want to chain 3 again and turn our work. Now this time is going to be 3 double crochets in between each increase. So this chain 3 counts as our first one, and then we want to do 1 in the next, 1 in the next, and then our increase, 2 double crochets in the same stitch, and then 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and then an increase. So we just want to repeat this pattern back to the beginning, or the other side. Okay, I'm coming back around again, and I just did my increase in that last stitch. Now I want to chain 3 and turn. This time around is going to be 4 double crochets in between each increase. This is going to count as my first one. So that's 2, 3, and 4. And then I want to do my increase. 2 doubles in the same stitch. And then I'll do 1 double crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then my increase into the next. So this is how the pattern's going to go from now on. I'm doing 4 double crochets in between each stitch until I get back over to here. The next round will be 5 double crochets in between each stitch, and the next row will be 6 double crochets in between each stitch, and 7, and so on. And then you need to have a make a piece. It's 9 rows, counting the very first center one. 1, 2, 9. So 9 rows total. And of course you can make yours bigger or smaller if you want. You just want to make sure that you have, you're going to need if you're using the belt for the handle, you're going to need a pretty long belt. So just remember, the bigger you make it, the longer of a belt that you're going to need. But just keep going until you get 2 pieces. You need 2 pieces the exact same, and they need to be 9 rows each. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one finished up, and then we'll start making the outside edge. of my pieces made, and I'm going to set them to the side for now. But you should probably count your stitches, and you need to have a total of 90 stitches around, making it my size. And I'm gonna make a flap for the side so I can weave the belt in and out of it to make it like that, a handle, but we're gonna weave it. So I'm gonna start with a slip knot. And then I'm gonna do a chain. Now the chain is going to be how thick you want that this middle of your bag to be. It also probably just depends on the size of belt you're using. If you have a really thick belt, you'll have to do more, but mine's not that thick. So I'm going to do a chain of 8. And then I'm going to single crochet in the second stitch from the hook, and then I'm going to single crochet in every stitch across. Like that. And that counts as our first row. So you want to chain 1 and turn, single crochet in every stitch across again. That's 2 rows. Chain 1 and turn, single crochet in every stitch across again. And that is our third row. Chain 1 and turn, single crochet across in every stitch again. And that's going to be 4 rows. And this is going to be a repeat pattern now. Do 4 rows of single crochet. Now we need to make a slit so we can weave the belt through. So we're going to chain 1 and turn. And now this chain 1 is counting as a first single crochet. Now I'm going to skip the next 5 and single crochet into the last stitch. But in place of the 5, I'm going to do a chain of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I'm going to skip these 5, and then I'm going to single crochet into the last stitch. Like that. Now we need to chain 1 and turn. Now we need to go along and single crochet in every stitch. And we need to single crochet in the stitches of the chain. And then the last stitch over here. Like that. Chain 1 and turn. That counts as our first row. So we need to do a total of 4 rows again. And then we do another slit. That's 2 rows. Chain 1, turn. Three rows, chain 1, turn. And that's my 4th row. So I want to chain 1 and turn, and I want to make that little slit again for my belt to go through. So I want to skip these 5 stitches and do a chain 5. We do the chain 1 and turn, and then we do another chain 5. 5, skip the 5 stitches and single crochet in the last. Chain 1 and turn. Now we need to single crochet across again, making sure we do one in each of the stitches on the chain. And that counts as our first row, so we need to have a total of 4, and then we're going to make another slip. Okay, this is what I got so far on the strap part for the side. I did 4 rows, and this slit is my 5th. 4 more rows, this slit would be my 10th. So with the slit, it's in multiples of 5. So 4 and 1, that's 5 stitches. And this one's going to be 10, 15, 20, 25. And I just did 4 more. And I'm going to go ahead and do a chain 1 and turn. And I'm going to chain 5 again. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to single crochet into the last one. Like that. So that slit makes 30 stitches. So remember, I'll show you again. This is 4, the slit makes 5. 4 more, the slit makes 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. That makes sense to you, I hope it does. Because we did 4 rows in between each of the slits, so counting the slit, I did it in multiples of 5. That way it's going to turn out okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to put no slits down the bottom part of the bag. If you want to continue doing slits, you can. Just keep doing it the way you've been doing it. I'm not going to. What I'm going to do now is chain 1 and turn. I'm going to do 30 rows of just plain single crochet rows. And I'm just going to go across this chain, just like we did before, single crocheting. Like that, and I'm going to chain 1. That counts as my first row and turn. And now I'm just going to keep doing rows. I'm not going to put no slits until I get around to the other side. So I'm not slitting on the bottom. But like I said, if you want to, you can keep putting slits. Just do it in the multiples of 5 like we've been doing, and it will turn out okay. But if you want to do it like I'm doing it, I'm going to do 30 rows of single crochet. There's my second one. Chain 1 and turn. And then I'm going to start doing the slits again. So I'm going to go ahead and do my 30 rows, which is going to be on the bottom part of the bag when we sew it together. So that's my 3rd row. Chain 1 and turn. And I'm just going to keep going until I have 30. And turn. Okay, I just did my 30 rows of regular single crochet. Now I'm going to start making the slits again. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn, and I'm going to do a chain of 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet into the last one, chain 1 and turn. And then I need to single crochet across, including the stitches of the chain. that, and that counts as my first row. And remember, I need to do a total of 4 and then do another slit. So I chain 1 and turn. Chain 1 and turn, that's 2. Oops. Chain 1 and turn. It's 3 rows. I need to do 1 more for my 4 rows. Okay, and then I want to do another slit, so I want to chain 1 and turn and do a chain of 5 and stretch it over and single crochet into the last stitch. And there's my other slit, and now I'm just going to repeat, keep going, 4 rows and then another slit until I get the same amount on this side as I have over here. So you should have a total of 5 slits and then 4 rows to end it out. Okay, I finished my strap. 5 slits on this side and 5 on this side. 30 rows in the middle, unless of course you just kept putting slits on it. That was up to you. Now we're just going to sew it on, and I'm going to sew it on using single crochet. So you want to start with a slip knot. And you need to sew it on this side, and then you got to bring it and sew it on this side. So I'm just going to start with 1 piece. And I'm just going to start it right up here at the top, and I'm going to go down this entire side all the way around, sewing it with single crochet. And there should be 90 rows total on this. You did it like me to match the 90 stitches that are around this big circle. So you just want to start in the first stitch on this piece, which is the top of the chain 3 here. And then the first stitch on here. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull through that slip knot that's on my hook to start out with. Just going to go ahead and pull through that slip knot like that. Now I want to go back in that same stitch and do a single crochet. So, the same stitch I just went into. Single crochet. Now I'm just going to go along. I'm going to go in the next stitch here and the next stitch on this piece and single crochet. The next stitch on this and the next stitch on this piece, single crochet. And that's 3 single crochets I did. There's the 4th one and the 4th one over here on this one. Single crochet. And remember we did it multiples of 5, so it'll match up right at the 5th one. Every multiple of 5 ends on a slit. So go into the stitch and then that one top one on the slit and single crochet. And you want to do that with this whole entire piece all the way around on this one side, and then we'll do the other side too. So I'm going to work my way down, single crochet in this piece together. Well, just like that. So I'm going to keep going around with this piece until I get it sewed on. Okay, I just got my first strip single crocheted on, and now what I want to do, I just want to clean this area up right here, and I want to go and single crochet in every stitch down here to here, and then I'll be back at my beginning where I started. So I just did the last stitch there, so I'm just going to move it to the side, and now I'm just going to be working on this piece only. And what I'm going to do is just one single crochet in every stitch, just to clean it up a little bit. And you're not going to be able to see the stitches real well because they're going to be on the sides of the double crochets, or they're going to be chain threes. So just do the best you can to evenly space out your stitches. So I'm just going to do that all the way down here and then back up here to my beginning. And then I'm just going to slip stitch into the very first single crochet I made, sewing this side on. And then I'm going to take my other side and I'm going to start sewing it on the exact same way. And then I'm going to go down the middle of that too. Okay, I got both of my pieces sewed on. And I went down the fronts of both sides. One more thing I want to do before I put the belt on it is I'm going to go around again with one single crochet in each stitch, and I'm just going to continue and go around the sides too, and down the back, and then around this side, and then finish it. That way it'll tie in the sides a little bit better. So I'm just going to start right up here in the corner and go through that slip knot on my hook, and I'm going to go back into the same stitch, single crochet, and now I'm going to single crochet one in each stitch, all the way down. Just like this. I'm just going to continue. Okay, I went single crochet here and back up, and I'm just going to keep going around the side here. Just going to continue around like that, doing one single crochet in each stitch. And then back around to the other side. Oops. There we go. That makes it look a little bit smoother through there. And I'm just going to finish it off by going down here again and back up with single crochet. Back around this side, and then I'm just going to slip stitch into my very first single crochet that I did, and I'll tie off. Finished that, and I went ahead and weaved my belt down the sides in and out like that to make my handle. And I do want to show you something. If you made it where it weaves in and out all the way around, that's fine. But if you didn't, and you did it like mine, I'm going to just take a piece of yarn and do a couple stitches from the inside around the belt in a couple different spots just to hold it there in place. But if you did it this way all the way around, you won't have to worry about that. I knew I was going to have to do that, but I thought it looked neat how it broke off the bottom and then started back up. And I knew I would have to put a few stitches on the belt, and that's fine. One other thing I'm going to do though, I'm going to put a strap in the buckle. I got this buckle off an old belt. And this is optional. You don't have to do that. And I apologize, it's always so messy up here. I know. Okay, I'm just going to start back here. And I'm going to make a strap to where it folds over to the other side. And let's see. Okay, I want to start. Here, I have my center stitch that I put in the little center here. So I'm going to make it 5 stitches wide. And since it goes out of V here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start 2 stitches from the center. So not the center, not the next one, but the one next to it. And I'm going to pull through that stitch on my hook. I'm going to go into this stitch and do a single crochet, the same one. The next stitch, I'm going to do a single crochet. And the next stitch, which is going to be the one that is at the pointiest part of my bag, I'm going to do a half double in that one to kind of even it out. And then I'm going to do a single crochet into the next stitch and one into the next, just like that. I kind of made it a little bit straighter across, doing that half double right there at the point. Now I'm just going to chain 1, and I'm going to turn my work, and I'm going to go across, and I'm going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch. And I'm just going to keep doing 1 rounds of single crochet. And I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Just single rows of single crochet, 1 in every stitch, until I get the strap as long as I want it. And you can do yours however long you want it, if you want to put a strap on it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sew that belt buckle on the front so the strap will work for it. My buckle sewed on, my strap made to however long I wanted it. And that is it. That's all I'm going to do to this bag. And I hope you enjoy my tutorial. I think it's going to look real good once it gets carried around with stuff in it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And you can check out my Facebook page too. Don't forget to check out all my other tutorials. And until next time, have a nice day.